Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in this series, Roxkis Titan versus TSL Hyun here on Daybreak. Titan spawning as the green Protoss player, meanwhile Hyun spawning as the red Zerg. Protoss versus Zerg on Daybreak, a map that a lot of Zerg players recently really enjoy. It's easy to establish up your natural expansion and your third base. If you want to be aggressive, you can also take this base here, as it will start spreading creep into your opponent's base as well. Now, we'll see if TSL Hyun can come back after that game 1 loss. There was some interesting use of cannons, but that was just early pressure play, and it's important to note that Titan had a follow-through and a follow-up to that tactic. A lot of the times, players say, you know what, I saw cannon working, I saw, cannoning my opponent's base, that worked out so well, I'm gonna try it. But if you don't study what the actual follow-up plan is when that particular tactic fails, you're gonna feel very lost. Titan followed it up with a very good forge fast expansion. It was a little bit delayed, but Hyun also lost a lot of resources by not mining and being forced to use those drones in order to take down those photon cannons. Now, strategy so far, Titan has not revealed or tipped his hand as of yet. You can take a look. Scouting probe already on the other side of the map. Titan just taking a look around. It is going to be a spawning pool first, so he does not want to once again get cannon rushed at all. And opting to go for that spawning pool is going to work out very well. Yes, my daughter Arya very much enjoying this Zerg versus Protoss early on this Saturday morning, as the probe now just wanders back home. Now, the Overlords are moving very quickly across the map. They are going to be able to scout out, and they're going to be able to get into position in just a matter of seconds. Perhaps one Overlord hiding here, and then another Overlord hiding here as well. Now, it is going to be a Nexus first coming in from Titan, and ooh, what is happening here? Hyun has opted to go for a hatchery at his third instead of his natural, and I don't believe that the probe has yet scouted this out. Let's see, Titan does not know about this expansion down here yet. He can assume that there's going to be an expansion here at the natural, but we should be seeing an expansion at the natural sometime around the 4-minute mark. So at the 4-minute mark, we should be seeing that expansion, and then whether or not Hyun will get up enough queens to really defend and lay down those creep tumors will set the course of the game. Photon cannon and pylons now warping in as well. Front door gateway here, standard wall off, and we may see a bit of a 2-base timing from Titan as we saw him earlier. We are now going into an aggressive double gas by Titan, so he wants to follow this up with either a Stargate play or Colossus play. Both are very strong. Immortals able to deal a lot of damage, very strong units. They don't really tank damage well against Zerg, since Zerg does rely on Zerglings, and they can also use Hydralisk, but unless Hyun goes for very heavy roach, those Immortals are not going to be tanking that much damage. We are now getting into that 1 Cybernex core. We could be perhaps going into level 1 weapons upgrade with Stargate. That is a very effective pressure, as Zealots take care of anything on the ground, including Queens, and the Void Rays are able to deal a lot of damage, able to attack, move, and finish off a lot of roaches. Now, Queen is already being trained off over here, 1 Queen off over here, and it looks like it will be 1 Queen per hatch. So with 1 Queen per hatch, things are going to be a little bit difficult. Zerglings still running around, so Hyun doing a good job of just keeping track and knowing what's going on. Hyun sees this additional assimilator, and he can click on that assimilator and see how much gas has been harvested. He has to know that those geysers have been up for quite some time, and there really hasn't been that use of gas yet. You can see the level 1 weapons upgrade is being chrono boosted out, that warp gate tech and stalker, but Titan sitting on about 170 gas. He should be getting up that Stargate in just a moment, and we'll see when that pressure will be coming down. We do see 1 Queen down over here. It looks like a Queen is being trained here. Hyun not using creep tumors, not training up an additional Queen, instead going for very heavy drone count. He should have a strong economy in just a moment, as the Zerglings are still running around on the inside of the space, and it looks like the follow-up will be a robotics facility, and I love this timing by Titan. waiting until that scouting Zergling is absolutely destroyed, as now this Overlord tries to get away. Before, it would just be a suicide move, but I believe this Overlord will be able to get here, hide now up on the high ground. And what is the Stalker doing? Why is that Stalker? Oh, the Stalker cannot see up there any longer. So the Stalker is going to back away. We are going into the level 1 weapons upgrade, so it could be Stalker Gateway coming in. Stalker Gateway, and there's not that many spine crawlers. We are now going into roaches once more. One thing I will note, queens are actually better in a 1v1 fight against stalkers now, because they have more range, and stalkers DPS is rather low. Stalkers only deal 11 damage every 1.44 seconds, so that's about what, like 0.8 damage. And now in comes the Stalker engaging here, going back and forth. One thing I do question is that even though this is a 2 attack, it only looks like 1 needle. So does it get affected by armor the same? That queen now needs to get away. The queen taking a lot of damage. Zerglings and roaches now coming out. The queen needs to stay alive, and this is why you need to have more than 1 queen. The queen is backing away here. Brilliant play by Hyun to stay alive. And now we are going to be following this up with Warp Prism play, as Zealots are now going into the third. Warp Prism now making its way across the map. That is going to be a lot of units. Zealots are going to get taken down. There is still no creep connecting these bases, so the roaches are not going to be able to get there in time, as the Zealots are simply just going to get picked up and perhaps dropped off in the main base. Very aggressive Warp Prism play once more. And this may be enough to get Titan back into this game, as Hyun has a strong supply advantage, but a majority of that is sitting in those 12 roaches. Zealots now pressuring the third again, and Hyun without a way to really defend his third base, as there are no queens. Roaches now making their way down, drones now making their way down, and now a drop straight up into the main base here. So here you go, that Warp Prism could start warping in more units. Oh, the Zealot does get the final hit off there, getting a very strong production hit once more. What is Hyun going to do? Perhaps warp in some additional Zealots here? No, that is just simply hiding up on the high ground, as Stalkers and Zealots now engaging here. Hyun in a bit of trouble now on the ropes. Army compositions is about the same or slightly better for Hyun, but Hyun's units are split up between the first and the third base. So very difficult being forced to just play on the defense here. Larva count does have 19. He could train up a lot more units. Now getting up 16 roaches after those overlords do spawn, but now in comes some sentries. Sentries now going to take down a lot of those drones, and oh, what is this? Another force field comes in, and the roaches trying to get in there. Those sentries are very expensive units, and now getting all picked up. Absolutely brilliant. Also, those force fields did disrupt the mining at the main base as well. So far, Hyun has a supply advantage, but he is constantly split between 2 bases, unable to really do anything at all. There are 2 Immortals on the front door. The Immortals should perhaps be joining in on this fight. A large, massive army by Hyun here at the third. And Hyun should just be able to handle this counterattack and then attack move into his opponent's base. We also see that Titan now has a very strong third base of his own, even on bases. But is it going to be enough? Immortals are being trained. That is going to be a lot of Immortals. The Immortals do have that movement speed upgrade. We are at tier 2, and Hyun may decide to strike while the iron is hot. Immortals, and lots of them, are being trained. We are getting a follow-up into a Twilight Council and Stalkers as well. This is very heavy sentry. If the sentries are able to split apart the army, that may be just enough. But that army of roaches does simply look so massive at this point. Here we go. Immortals now trying to get it. Are we going to get a force field on the ramp? No, force field to make sure that the Zerglings don't get in. Roaches now trying to push in, and the roaches are caught in a bad place. Roaches now going after Immortals. The roaches are now just getting shot apart by these Immortals here. Sorry, going after the Forge. And now here we go. The roaches going after those units. It looks like Hyun and those Immortals will all get taken down. Sentries trying to finish this up. Who's coming out on top? There is some photon cannons and some Stalkers now on the low ground, but the roaches simply look too strong here. And Hyun says, or Titan says GG, as Hyun takes game 2 in this series. And that's all the games I have. Alright, I could have sworn I will look for game 3 in this series, but yeah, this is all the games I have in this Protoss versus Zerg. Maybe I can find it on some other website. I hate to leave you guys hanging, but I hope you guys enjoyed game 2 in this series. Hopefully I will be able to find game 3.